everybody. Solms Gail Perry.
I'm back here and it is fun. Music. Isn't this where we're supposed to sing?
We're going to put a roof on this place and do the show here. In the break, we were talking about the fact that the blooping, there are all sorts of things. You make a judgment what's clean and what's dirty. You know, the word, right? I was on the Tonight Show one time, and I did a joke, and in the punchline, or somewhere along the line, I said, I'll have a J and B and water, okay? Now, when it got on the air, because I'd mentioned a specific Scotch, they bleeped it out.
They may do it again.
And the next day, after that thing was shown, everybody was saying, looking at me like, what was a terrible thing? You know, I'll have a... and water. What in the world did he want that was so dirty?
It sounds dirty.
You know?
You can make any word dirty.
You know what they do now? They switch it around.
It's worse. They switch the word. In other words, there is a regular sentence, but in other words, it would sound like it's like if I said this, it would sound like zit.
Oh, they do it back.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds close to a fun word.
So you know what you do?
How's your zit?
You know how we got around it?
How is your zit?
Pretty good. How do you do? What's your
That's right. You make anything dirty.
You know how we got around it? We said the word backwards to begin with.
Oh.
But that's even more offensive, isn't it? Because then you really think, well, what did they change there?
Astrid Bay.
All right, get a word. Get a word. Do a word.
Well, no,
do
you
a
can
clean
agree.
word.
Me and my names. I was going to say Vidal Sassoon. Gore Vidal, in the book, which I intend to read, has the epitomization of what we're talking about, because he tells the reader to agree that the names of the 5 justices who voted in the obscenity case will now, this word will mean this obscenity, this word will mean this obscenity.
Name will mean this obscenity.
And,
oh, I see. They give a definition.
And I was going to try to use that in a nightclub act, you know, just to come out in front and say, listen, I don't use dirty words, but let's agree that gladiola is a real filthy, rotten word. We could do that right now.
Well, you know what happened last night?
What happened?
He gladiola'd me.
Oh. How's your gladiola? You know?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Extraordinary what you can do about it. It makes it worse.
Did you have a gladiola before you were married?
Often. Oh, but it really makes it worse because it's like, you know, it's dirtier actually than saying the actual thing.
Sure.
Right. Sure, I gladiola'd.
I want to ask you two something. Do you write differently? I mean, what happens when you have to write for women? Is it different for you both when you write, you know, for
We
a
write
couple
mainly for women.
You do, I know.
Yes.
Well, it started out that way because Carol Burnett was our first real challenge and our first big break.
A great gladiola, by the way.
Oh, have you ever seen her gladiola? It's unbelievable. Anyway, and we wrote so many things for women that, you know, we wrote Doris Day, Joan Crawford.
Can you do Doris Day?
No, I don't.
But he does. We wrote Lorelei for Carol.
We wrote a show called Lorelei.
You did?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that you both wrote that.
But it was a remake of Jennifer Blondes, and it was fun. But every night, after the curtain call, Carol Channing would say the same thing, and I would get hysterical. She would do a thank you speech, you know. You dear, dear people of St. Louis and environs. You dear, dear people of Chicago and environs. Well, the opening night in Los Angeles, I got hysterical because she went like this. She said, you dear, dear people of San Francisco and environs. This is my chance. She went right on. Nobody told her that they took a plane that day and they moved.
Oh, she's so divine. She's so divine. It doesn't really matter what she says.
No, she was cute. She really got a good laugh.
She was probably thinking about a gladiola going to happen later, you know.
Oh, yeah.
She was some gladiola girl. It's funny you pick gladiola. Weren't there gladiola girls? What was that?
I've never heard of them.
Like a Ziegfeld term or something.
I know there's a man from Gladiola.
But I mean, when you write for women, do you feel like because of the present consciousness of women today, do you feel you're writing social comment?
You know, it's really difficult because sometimes what you feel like, I got really in trouble for Sheila Levine with women's
Sheila Levine is dead and living in New York. That's
yeah, we should have established the fact
that we certainly should.
You
because
wrote that.
It was like about a girl who really wanted to get married. Now, I was trying not to say that that's what you should do. I was trying to show the horrors of it. But you know, so many people picked it up wrong.
In the book or in the film, they picked it up wrong?
In the book, mainly.
Really?
But it's like, you have to write what you know.
Absolutely.
And I've come to a point of being, you know, so liberated, and I keep growing and growing, but I haven't really gotten to the point of writing like the most liberated woman yet.
Well, I really...
Because you don't sit down to do that. You sit down really to write what you know, you know? And unless you're really someone who's an incredible activist in this cause and want to talk about that, you write what you know. But Gail's incredible because she just finished another book, which is, it's about a man. So now she's writing the man's viewpoint. She's incredible. It's in first person, as a man.
Do you feel your head has to change? You write about a woman and you write about a man. I mean, do you feel like your head changes and you get into the men, or you write objectively?
I used him for research material. As, he had this certain...
Don't ask. You can say this on Channel 13. Nothing was personal about my life with this second book. She would call me up at midnight and says, "What's that pill you take for cystitis?" And I said, "Please, is there nothing?"
He said to me, "Is there nothing personal? Is there nothing?" But I had to ask all the men I knew, including my husband,
I'm
about
totally
certain
ignorant.
things.
I didn't know men got cystitis. I thought it was a woman's complaint.
Everyone urinates. Can you say urinate gladiola?
Oh my God.
Everyone gladiolas.
Everyone gladiolas.
That's right, Sadie. Use the thing. No, but we argue and we talk about it because we have different viewpoints. I mean, I will say, well, I don't think a guy would do that, especially in the film version of Sheila. We would have more discussions about that because naturally, I didn't write the book, but in the film version, it's a different story, and we would have arguments about that.
You know, there's going to be an interesting thing that happens. People who are aware of, call it women's liberation. I always try to come up with a euphemism or something but for the sake of this, a lot of people creative people are very much aware of women's liberation. There's going to be an acceleration with the people who are coming up with a product that's going to be on television, on radio, and motion picture, much greater than the people out there. It's going to be funny to see what happens, because there's going to be millions and millions and millions of women who are very happy to be sex objects, to be at home and so forth. Long time after.
That's an interesting point, the oversaturation of it.
Yeah, but it's also, if you're really a liberationist, you have the right to stay at home and be a sex object. You have the choice, is what they're just trying to say.
Yeah,
You know,
but
well, nobody has any choice once to be an object. I mean, that's beside the point. Once you're conscious, you no longer want to be an object. You want to be sexy.
Once you're conscious.
Things get crazy, though, just even in the writing business. Well, like when Gail and I first started, Gail panicked because they wouldn't hire women, and
they wanted to talk dirt. They wanted to say gladiola.
And they thought they couldn't.
So they were afraid of hiring women. So
and I don't care about
because we were a
gladiola.
team, it was all right. So they
She got in on you, did she?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so lately, with the women's trend, you have to cut away. With the women's trend, what happens is more now men are being turned down. I'm sorry,
Well, it doesn't hurt. It'll balance itself out. No, but we've got some beautiful women we'd like you to meet.
Oh, yes.
We've got three gorgeous ladies, Ursuline and Gaviola and Carla Borelli, who are going to be back with us right after this break.
Gaviola.